Not everyone deserves access to your life. Move in silence and let the results shock them. There comes a moment in every life when silence becomes strength. Not everything you carry needs an audience. Not every plan deserves applause. And not every battle should be explained. In a world obsessed with oversharing, power belongs to the quiet ones. You see, some dreams are fragile. They grow best in the dark, away from noise, away from opinions that don't understand the journey. The moment you speak too soon, the world begins to interfere, doubt creeps in, negativity leaks through, and suddenly what was clear becomes heavy. Silence protects progress. Silence is often misunderstood. People think it means weakness, fear, or a lack of confidence. But in truth, silence is one of the strongest forces a person can carry. It is not empty, it is deliberate, it is chosen. It is the calm of someone who knows exactly who they are and where they are going without needing permission or applause from the world. When you stay silent, you control the narrative. You are no longer reacting to opinions, defending your choices, or explaining your dreams to people who cannot see beyond their own limits. Silence removes distractions. It creates space for clarity. In that quiet space, your mind sharpens, your focus deepens, and your energy stops leaking into places where it never belonged. Powerful people do not rush to speak. They observe, they listen, they wait. Because they understand something most never learn: words, once released, cannot be taken back. Every unnecessary explanation gives away a piece of your strength. Every argument you avoid preserves your peace. Silence becomes a shield, protecting your vision from doubt, envy, and noise. There is a reason storms make the most noise while mountains stand in silence. True strength does not announce itself. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It simply exists. When you move quietly, you deny others the chance to interfere. You prevent their doubts from becoming your doubts. You stop their fears from becoming your fears. In silence, you build without pressure, without comparison, without the weight of expectations that were never meant for you. Silence also teaches patience. It trains you to trust your actions instead of your words. You stop chasing validation, and instead, you chase progress. You stop explaining your plans, and you start executing them. This is where discipline is born, not in loud declarations, but in quiet consistency, day after day, when no one is watching. And when the time finally comes, when the work is done, when the growth is real, when the results are undeniable, you won't need to speak at all. The silence you kept will echo louder than any speech you could have given. People will notice the change. They will feel the impact. They will ask how it happened. And you'll realize something powerful. Silence didn't hide your strength. It sharpened it. Every dream begins quietly. Not with applause, not with recognition, but with a small, fragile belief that lives deep inside you. In its earliest form, a dream is sensitive. It doesn't need judgment. It doesn't need opinions. It needs protection. Just like a seed planted beneath the soil, it must remain hidden long enough to take root, to strengthen, to grow where no one can disturb it. When you share your dreams too early, you expose them to forces they are not yet strong enough to survive. Doubt enters through careless words. Fear slips in through unsolicited advice. Skepticism disguises itself as realism. Suddenly, what once felt possible begins to feel heavy. Not because the dream was weak, but because it was spoken before it was ready. Not everyone who hears your dream understands the journey it requires. Some people see only the distance, not the destination. Others measure your vision against their own limitations. And without meaning to, they shrink something that was meant to expand. That is why privacy is not fear. It is strategy. It is wisdom. It is choosing to let your dream mature before introducing it to the noise of the world. In private, your dream has room to breathe. You can fail quietly. You can adjust without embarrassment. You can learn without being watched. There is freedom in building without an audience. No pressure to impress. No need to prove. Just steady progress guided by belief and discipline. This is where confidence is forged, not from praise, but from persistence. Working in silence allows you to hear your own voice clearly. It helps you separate what you truly want from what others expect. The world is full of advice, but not all advice is meant for you. When you protect your dream, You protect your direction. You stay focused. You stay hungry. You stay aligned with the purpose that started it all. And then, one day, something changes. The seed breaks through the surface. The roots are deep. The foundation is solid. The dream is no longer fragile. It is undeniable. At that moment, you don't need to announce it. You don't need to explain it. The results introduce themselves. People will ask where it came from. They'll wonder how long you planned it. They'll say it happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. It grew in the quiet. It survived in the dark. And because you protected it, it lived long enough to become real. That is why dreams grow best in private. Just because someone hears you doesn't mean they're standing with you. Listening is easy. Supporting takes intention. And one of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not everyone who leans in wants to see you rise. Some listen out of curiosity. Some listen to compare. Some listen to measure how far ahead or behind you are. And a few listen simply to find something they can quietly pull apart later. Support has a sound to it. It sounds like encouragement when you're tired. It feels like belief when results are slow. But hidden beneath polite nods and friendly questions, there can be doubt, envy, or disbelief. That's why discernment matters. The world is full of ears, but few hearts are truly aligned with your journey. When you share your plans openly, you give others access to your momentum. And momentum is fragile when exposed to the wrong energy. A careless comment can linger in your mind longer than 1,000 affirmations. A raised eyebrow can plant hesitation where confidence once lived. People may not intend harm, but their limitations often speak louder than their support. Some individuals can only understand success once it's visible. Until then, your ambition makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of chances they didn't take, risks they avoided, dreams they let fade. And instead of confronting that truth, they project it onto you. They call it being realistic. They call it looking out for you. But deep down, it's fear wearing a friendly face. This is why you must choose your circle carefully. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your becoming. There are seasons when you need to work without witnesses, grow without commentary, and struggle without spectators. Your vision does not need approval to be valid. It needs commitment. It needs time. It needs you to believe in it when no one else does. True supporters don't question your pace. They don't rush your progress. They don't require proof before offering belief. They stand quietly beside you, even when the road is uncertain. But they are rare. And until you find them, silence becomes your safeguard. Let people see the outcome, not the process. Let them meet the finished version, not the fragile draft. Because when success arrives, the noise changes. The same people who doubted will suddenly understand. The same ears that questioned will start listening differently. And in that moment, you'll realize something powerful. Not everyone who listened was meant to support you. But the ones who mattered never needed convincing. In a world that glorifies openness, transparency, and constant sharing, there is a quiet, unspoken power in protecting your own space. Privacy is not about hiding, it's about preserving the essence of who you are. Every thought you broadcast, every feeling you display, every plan you reveal carries with it a piece of your energy. And energy, once given away, cannot always be reclaimed. That is why protecting your privacy is not selfish. It is essential. It is the foundation of peace. When you guard what belongs to you, you create boundaries that safeguard your mind and spirit. You shield yourself from unnecessary interference, from opinions that weigh heavier than support, from judgments that confuse more than they guide. Peace isn't found in the applause of the crowd. It is cultivated in moments of solitude, in spaces where your mind can breathe without interruption. When your life is an open book, every glance, every comment, every whisper can become a distraction. But when you hold certain chapters close, you reclaim control over your narrative. Privacy allows you to focus on what truly matters. It lets you grow without comparison. It lets you heal without explanation. There is immense freedom in being the steward of your own journey. You don't owe the world your timeline, your emotions, or your progress. Those who truly care will recognize your path through actions, not declarations. Those who matter will sense your strength without needing to be told how it was built. Consider the storms of life, the challenges, the heartbreaks, the failures. If every struggle were shared openly, the weight of others' opinions would make it harder to endure. Criticism, doubt, or misplaced concern can cloud your clarity and slow your steps. But in privacy, you can confront hardship on your own terms. You can grieve, strategize, and rise without interruption. Silence becomes armor, and solitude becomes a forge where resilience is tempered. Protecting your peace doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means choosing carefully what to expose and what to hold sacred. It means recognizing that your energy is finite and not everyone deserves a piece of it. Some conversations drain you. Some relationships distract you. Some opinions are irrelevant. Privacy teaches discernment, and discernment protects your inner world. And when you cultivate this practice, you discover something profound. Peace is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of control. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your life is your own. It is the calm that allows you to think clearly, act deliberately, and rise steadily. You don't need validation to exist. You don't need permission to progress. By protecting your privacy, you protect your most valuable asset, yourself. In the end, peace is more powerful than attention. Silence is stronger than constant noise. And a life lived with quiet intention speaks louder than any words ever could. There is a quiet magic in results. They do not ask for permission. They do not plead for recognition. They simply exist, undeniable proof that effort was real, persistence was steady, and commitment was unwavering. Too often, we feel the need to explain ourselves, our choices, our methods, our journey, as if the world deserves a roadmap to our success. But the truth is, words are fleeting. They can be misinterpreted, dismissed, or forgotten. Results, on the other hand, carry a weight that no explanation can match. When you focus on results instead of validation, you align yourself with action. You stop giving your energy to critics and doubters, and you invest it in the work that matters. Every late night, every sacrifice, every moment spent pushing forward in silence builds toward a truth that cannot be denied. No amount of speculation, gossip, or doubt can diminish it. Results are tangible. They are the quiet applause that follows discipline. They are the proof that your vision was more than just a thought. It was a movement, unfolding in real time. Explanations often weaken the impact of your progress. When you try to justify, clarify, or defend, you give others the power to question your worth. You invite scrutiny and create room for doubt to creep in. But results speak with a clarity that words never can. They bypass opinions and assumptions. They bypass envy and judgment. When you succeed quietly, without broadcasting every step, your results arrive like a storm no one saw coming. A force that commands attention and respect because it is undeniable. There is also freedom in letting results tell your story. You no longer feel the need to convince anyone of your potential. You no longer have to argue for your dreams. Every achievement, no matter how small, becomes a statement. Every breakthrough becomes proof that your discipline and persistence were enough. And when people finally see what you've built, the questions and doubts that once lingered dissolve. You don't need explanations because your work has already spoken. The greatest victories are often the ones that arrive in silence. The quiet dedication, the long hours unseen, the moments when no one was watching. These are the building blocks of outcomes that command attention. Results are the language of credibility. They are the bridge between intention and impact. And the beauty of it is, they demand nothing from you except your best effort, consistency, and belief in the unseen. So, focus on action over words. Focus on execution over justification. Let your results carry the weight of your vision. Because in the end, people will not remember your explanations. They will remember what you built, what you achieved, and the undeniable impact you left behind. Results do not lie. Results do not fade. Results speak louder than any words ever could. Silence the need to explain. Let your work roar. And let your success tell the story that words never could. Pain was never meant to be displayed like a trophy or shared like a headline. It is not a story for entertainment, not a spectacle for sympathy. Pain is private because its purpose is personal. It arrives not to be seen, but to shape, not to be explained, but to be understood. And when you learn to treat pain as a teacher instead of a performance, you unlock a level of strength that few ever reach. Every hardship carries a lesson, but lessons are rarely loud. They speak in silence, in long nights when the world is asleep and you're left alone with your thoughts. Pain teaches patience when nothing moves. It teaches humility when pride breaks. It teaches endurance when quitting feels easier than continuing. These lessons lose their power when they are rushed into words. Some growth can only happen when you sit with the discomfort and allow it to change you from the inside out. When pain becomes public, it often becomes diluted. People rush to comment, compare, advise, and judge. Their reactions pull your focus outward when it needs to turn inward. Healing doesn't need witnesses. Strength doesn't need applause. The deepest transformations happen when no one is clapping, when no one knows how heavy the weight truly is. That is where character is forged. There is also dignity in carrying pain quietly. It builds emotional discipline. It teaches you how to stand without leaning on sympathy. This does not mean you are weak for needing help. It means you are wise enough to choose carefully who earns access to your vulnerability. Not everyone deserves to see your wounds. Some people only want proof that you're struggling, not evidence that you're growing. Pain, when embraced privately, sharpens perception. You begin to see clearly who you can trust, what truly matters, and what must be left behind. It strips away illusions and reveals truth. It forces you to evolve. And evolution is rarely comfortable. But comfort was never the goal. Strength was. One day people will notice the change. They'll see your calm where there once was chaos, your confidence where there once was doubt, your focus where there once was fear. They'll ask what happened. They'll want the story. And you won't need to revisit the pain in detail. You won't need to relive it out loud, because the lesson already did its work. Pain taught you how to rise without noise, how to heal without applause, how to grow without explaining. There is a special kind of power in moving without announcement. No countdown, no promises, no noise. Just quiet preparation happening far from the spotlight. While others talk about what they're going to do, you're doing the work. While others seek attention, you're building foundations. This is the art of moving in silence. Progress without pressure, growth without distraction, strength without spectacle. When you move quietly, you protect your momentum. You free yourself from expectations that don't serve you. The world loves to watch beginnings, but it rarely stays patient for the process. Silence removes that pressure. It allows you to grow at your own pace, to fail privately, to refine your craft without the fear of judgment. In silence, mistakes become lessons instead of headlines. Moving in silence also sharpens discipline. There is no external validation to rely on, no likes, no applause, no encouragement to carry you forward. The only thing pushing you is your commitment. And that kind of discipline is unbreakable. It builds consistency. It builds resilience. It builds a mindset that doesn't depend on recognition to keep going. People often underestimate what they cannot see. They assume stillness means stagnation. They mistake quiet for weakness. And that misunderstanding becomes your advantage. While expectations are low, you are free to exceed them. While doubts surround you, you are gathering strength. Silence becomes a cover under which growth happens undisturbed. Then comes the moment of arrival. Impact does not announce itself early. It reveals itself suddenly. One day, the work you've been doing in the dark steps into the light. The progress that was invisible becomes undeniable. The growth that was questioned becomes respected. And the noise changes. The same people who didn't notice your effort will suddenly notice your results. And you won't need to explain the journey, because impact speaks in a language louder than words. It commands attention without asking for it. It shifts perceptions instantly. It leaves no room for doubt. That is the reward of silent effort. When success shows up fully formed, without warning, without justification. Arriving with impact doesn't mean arriving loudly. It means arriving prepared. It means showing up stronger than expected, wiser than imagined, and more capable than anyone predicted. Silence shaped you. Discipline carried you. Consistency refined you. So keep moving quietly. Keep building privately. Keep growing without announcement. Because when the time is right, your arrival will say everything you never needed to say out loud. And that is its true purpose. Not to be performed, but to transform. The strongest people you'll ever meet didn't tell the world what they were going through. They showed it later, through discipline, consistency, and unshakable confidence. So protect your vision. Guard your peace. Let your silence do the talking. Because when the time is right, you won't have to say a word.